Hi everyone, I'm so excited for today's video and I'm glad that it's bright and sunny today because this reflects my current disposition, and the main reason why is because I finally have with me my Guerlain Pink Pearl Meteorites. Now, if you are a meteorites lover or a collector, we all know how difficult it is to find this particular meteorites at this time. Now, when I found out back in January that Guerlain was releasing a limited edition meteorites for their spring 2021 collection, I immediately messaged my SA at Guerlain here and asked her if they were going to carry this limited edition meteorites in their current stock, because last year for 2020, they didn't carry any of the limited editions or the holiday collections meteorites at all. So that was such a, that was quite sad. And the main reason why I messaged her first is because it's just one way of supporting the Guerlain boutique here, because if they're going to carry it this year, I would have waited until the stocks would arrive before I would start, finding it elsewhere. And when Antoinette messaged me and she told me that there's actually no word if they will be stocking up with the limited edition meteorites this year, that's when I actually scoured the internet for my very own Guerlain Pink Pearl Meteorites. Now, I saw this being sold from an online retailer based in Japan, I think through Fude Japan, I think. I'm gonna put the link down below to his Instagram so that you guys can check that out. And I just found that it was just too expensive. I think mainly because the consumer tax in Japan is quite high, so maybe that's why the prices were a little bit way above how much I would normally pay for here in the Philippines. And so I just kept on waiting and I kept on searching. I even went to Amazon and eBay and I didn't find any. Now, I was so desperate to have this that I even messaged my friend Mez, who lives in the UK now, and I told her can you look for this particular meteorites? And she said sure, it's here, but we just don't know when it will arrive, mainly because of Brexit, and then I think this might be shipping out of Paris. So she told me that she just didn't know when this particular product will arrive in her doorstep. So I just told her just keep it at bay and I'm gonna search some more, and then if I don't see any at all, I'm gonna tell her to buy it for me. So a few weeks ago, I decided to go on strawberrynut.com because that's where I actually purchased a ton of my meteorites products. Now, luckily for me, it was there. So the instant I saw it, I bought it, and with the price, I forgot how much it was. It was a little bit over 3,000 pesos, but it was not more than 3,500 pesos. So the price was actually quite reasonable. So I decided to buy it there and then. And that's how I actually got my Guerlain Pink Pearl Meteorites. Now, before I actually did this video, I checked strawberrynut.com and I checked if it's still available. And yes, it's still there. So if you're interested in getting your own Guerlain Pink Pearl Meteorites, head over to strawberrynut.com and order it. They ship worldwide, so you have nothing to worry about. And they package it really well. So rest assured, it's gonna arrive safe and sound in your home. Alright, so this is the Guerlain Pink Pearl Meteorites, and as you can see, it comes in a pink box, which is actually nothing special because the permanent collection meteorites actually come in a pink box. Now, I found this to be a little bit disappointing because I wish that they would have, made the packaging a little bit special, because after all, this is a limited edition. And if we twirl the box around, there's really nothing special. We just have the ingredients list, the batch code is still here, and of course this particular meteorite is good to use for 12 months after opening. Alright, so this is the tin packaging of the Pink Pearl Meteorites. As you can see, it's all silver and you still see that scallop design all over the tin. Now, the main difference that I see with the Pink Pearl, if you were to compare it to one of the meteorites on the permanent collection, is that their covers are quite different. On the permanent collection, you see that there are a hint of pink colors that starts out from the emblem here of Guerlain and it fades out into white. While on the Pink Pearl collection, as you can see here, it's silver and white all throughout. Now, truthfully, aside from the tin covers, there's no difference at all. It's the same size and it also holds the same amount of product. And the only difference is that what's inside. And speaking of what's inside, let's open the tin. And the first thing that we always see is the sponge. So let's flip it over. and automatically we see what color this particular meteorite actually give out. Now to me, it appears like a very blue pink, but I don't know yet how this will actually register on the skin with or without foundation. So we'll try it in a bit. It's quite pigmented and I haven't seen this type of meteorites before, but it does remind me of one of the collections that they actually like released back in 2014 or 2015. I really can't remember, and the name was the Pearl de Blush Eclat Angelique. So I'm gonna try to see if I can find a photo of that, but I think this particular meteorite was released as a blush. And looking at the tin right now, it really does remind me of that particular meteorite. Now, I never had that. I never bought that. The main reason is because when I got wind of that particular meteorite, it was no longer available here. But that was such a beautiful blush collection from Guerlain, and I wish that they would release it. And actually, like, that's the main reason why I was so excited with the pink pearl meteorites, because when I saw this in Michelle Wang's video and also on Jacqueline's video, I can't remember, but when I saw it, I said to myself, I gotta have it, because to me it looks like it's more of a blush than a finishing powder. All right, so let's take a look at the pearls inside. So we have different sizes of pearls. We have one very bright pink pearl, which I think is matte. One like pearl that's quite big and round, and I think it has like a very nice champagne pinky tone to it. Now I can't really describe it much further because there's already pink powder around it. And we also have one here that's a little bit golden and warm, so which is great. At least it adds some warmth to the skin. And we also have like a very like rosy pearl here. Now it's a very interesting mix and I really like it, and I'm actually glad that there are like no blue pearls in it, there are no green pearls in it, because this just, you know, doesn't alter the vibrancy of this actual powder. So I really like that. So I'm not gonna swatch the pearls one by one because that actually defeats the purpose, because you know how meteorites are, you actually have to use all the colors together or mix them together and break them down together so that you get the true color that this particular product actually gives out. Alright, so now I'm gonna try the pink pearl meteorites on my face. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply foundation first on one side while I'm gonna leave the other side blank, so that we'll see how well this particular meteorite will actually work on skin with and without product. Alright, so for my foundation, I'm gonna use my Fit Me Matte and Poreless. So I always use a matte foundation when I am trying out Guerlain meteorites, so that we see how radiant it is. So I'm just applying this foundation all over my skin and blending it out. Okay, next let's apply some concealer, and I'm just gonna apply a small amount at the inner corner here and here, just to brighten up our under eye area a teeny tiny bit. And I'm just going to lightly set my concealer with powder. And with my Chikuhodo MK2 Cherry Blossom Powder Brush, I'm gonna set my entire face with powder. Okay, so now that I have everything down, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip the tin over and then give it a nice shake. As you can see here, the cap has now some product. And with my Cherry Blossom brush, I'm just going to pick up all of that product and apply it gently on the skin. Alright, so as you can see, this powder is actually giving my skin a nice rosy hue to it. Now, it's quite nice because it's lifting my skin and it's complementing the color of my skin, because after all, pink has blue undertones in it, which in itself counteracts the yellow tones of my skin, so they're like complementing each other extremely well. Now, I think this is a nice color to use at this time. Like, although in some parts of the world it's still winter and some is experiencing spring already, so our skin is quite, yellow and sallow, so it doesn't have as much color. So using this particular Guerlain Meteorites can really help in, you know, adding color, and it also helps in lifting your mood because pink is such a joyful color. Alright, so I'm applying some of that product in my forehead and just blending it into the cheeks and to the rest of the face. But I'm just adding a very thin layer on my skin and I'm not overdoing it. And that's a great thing also with using a very nice fluffy brush like this, like the Chikuhodo MK2 Cherry Blossom Powder Brush, because it just adds a very delicate veil of color on the skin. Okay, so let's flip the tin over again. Okay, I'm gonna pick up some of the product with this brush and I'm gonna add it on the left side of my face to see how well it registers on my skin. Because sometimes, you know, when you have foundation on your skin, the makeup product takes on a different kind of dimension. And I just want to see how well this particular meteorite actually registers on normal skin. And I like that it's actually giving me a very nice flushed look. It looks very natural, which I actually like. So that kind of works. Alright, so this is how the Pink Pearl Meteorites looks on my skin. So this is how it looks like on skin which has foundation. And this is how it looks like on skin without foundation. So as you can see, it's a very delicate pink color. And it's giving a nice rosy hue and brightness to the skin. Okay, so now I want to see if I can amp up the color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the tin over again, give it a nice shake. And this time I'm going to be using a denser brush and a smaller brush. And I'm gonna pick up that product from the tin can here. And I'm gonna apply it gently on the cheeks. And I'm just layering it gently to see if the color actually intensifies. And yes, it actually does. But it doesn't really intensify to a very like bright pop of color. But it still has that nice, delicate, pastel-y pink color that actually kind of works as a blush. Ooh, I like this. Let's try it here on the other side. Okay, so it's intensifying really well. And I'm glad to see that we can use this like, you know, as a very thin veil on the skin. And we can also use this as a blush. Okay, so I'm gonna tone that down a bit and blend them all together. And I'm just using a very thin layer of loose powder with a clean brush, just so that, you know, I mix and mute down everything. Okay, so as I am observing the Pink Pearl Meteorites on my skin, I have noticed that it's actually much more matte than most of the meteorites that I have in my collection. And I can also see some micro glitters, like here on the high points of my cheeks, and it actually has this nice violet sheen on it. Now, I don't think this particular meteorite has violet sheens on the pearls, but I think it created this nice violet color because it has some champagne and golden tones in it, and when it got mixed with the matte pink pearls, it actually kind of became violet. So I'm glad that it has this nice color and it's not silvery because it gives it a nice dimension and it's much more cohesive that way, because, you know, violet and pinks, they have blue tones in it, so they work well together, especially when you're blending. Now, truthfully, when I first saw the Pink Pearl Meteorite, I go like, oh, maybe this is just like a reincarnation of one of the earlier meteorites collection that they have. And it kind of reminded me of the Pearl de Satin Meteorites, this particular one, because, you know, it has like the same pink tones to it. And now when I decided to compare them and put them side by side, as you can see here, the pearls are quite different. Now, the Pearl de Satin has a much more violet purplish tone to it, while the Pink Pearl has more pink pearls to it. So, but you know, I think the main reason why I can say that they're almost similar is that they share the same golden tones and champagne tones in them. Now, I think these two meteorites can work well together, like if we just layer them, because the Pearl de Satin actually has much more, you know, violet and maybe like lavender lilac tones. And if we just layer them, it kind of mutes down the Pink Pearl and it just adds more sheen to it, more glow. And it also helps in creating more dimension on the color of the skin. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to see how well the Pink Pearl will actually layer with one of the Permanent Collection meteorites. So I have Torre here in my hand, so I'm just shaking it. And then I'm just going to get the color that we have here on the cap. And I'm just gonna apply it on my cheeks to see what kind of dimension we get with it. All right, I can actually see that I have some dimension going on. So as you can see, the like deep colors of the Torre Meteorites is actually blending well into the skin, and it's actually making me look quite bronzered. So I really like that. And I'm also glad that when I'm layering these two products together, it's not creating a muddy appearance, because that's one of my main concerns when I am laying colors on my skin. Like, you know, I just don't want it to look muddy. But I'm glad that, you know, the color of the Pink Pearl Meteorites, it's still there, it's still popping. And the Torre Meteorites is actually not muting it down a teeny tiny bit, but it's melding well into it, and it's like creating this nice color harmony on my skin without actually diminishing the colors or making it look muddy. So I really like that. So I'm just gonna finish off this look by adding the Torre Meteorites on the other side of my face. Alright, so this is it. So this is how the Pink Pearl Meteorites registers on my skin. And now if you have any more questions about the products that I use today, please leave them down at the comments box below and let's have a conversation about this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye-bye.